All right, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Quick sound check. Hello there, Russ, Coach Harris, Laurel, Claudia. The whole gang is here. But all right, folks, let's recap a few trades from this week. Most of which were pretty good. I had one bad trade. I broke my rule and had one bad trade. So we'll jump in here and we'll do the good ones first. And the theme is A plus or bust. If it ain't A plus, I don't want it. So Amazon, we had an A plus squeeze here on the 2-hour. Yeah, we jumped into an out the money call debit spread. 190, 195. Bought that for $1.19. And then as advertised, 2-hour squeeze fired. Not a huge push, but a little grind higher. And we sold that for a 30% profit. So that was a mastery trade. And then Google, I did Google on my own, but moving forward, I want to post more of these end of day squeezes. They can be pretty solid. So Monday afternoon, right before the close, here comes Google. Beautiful 30-minute squeeze. Buy signal, good structure, above the trailing stop. Perfect score at 12, A plus setup. So I bought the 170 calls for $1.21, and then the following morning, little gap up, squeeze fired, nice push towards that 170 target, and I sold those calls for a 60% profit. And then the bank stocks. So Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Citigroup, Berkshire, Morgan Stanley. A lot of good-looking setups in the bank stocks this week. We traded Wells Fargo, and we jumped in and out twice. It was so nice we did it twice. So the first trade here was based on the 1-hour A plus squeeze. We bought the 60 calls for $1.38, and very quickly caught a nice push. And then yesterday morning, a little gap down, and you had the S&Ps kind of fighting the good fight near that 5,200 level. So we sold our calls for a 20% profit, took a little step back, and then an hour later, about an hour later, here comes the A plus 4-hour squeeze. Good structure, squeeze, buy signal, perfect score, A plus. So we again bought the 60 calls for $2, and then this morning, 4-hour squeeze fired, caught ourselves a nice push, and sold those for a 25% profit. So no big trades, but some nice base hits. One thing I'm noticing in this market, not the best follow through. You'll get a good push out of a 1-hour, 2-hour, 4-hour squeeze, but that's about it. So until that changes, I think fighting the temptation to be a bit greedy and being a little quicker to take those profits, I think makes some sense. All right, and then the bad trade. Now, it was a bad trade, not because of the setup, but because of the stock. Lemonade. The dirt bag, formerly known as Lemonade. When I look at all my results over the last 7, 8, 9 years, all of my money is made in the same group of stocks. It's the indexes, SPX, QQQ, big tech, so Amazon, Google, Apple, semiconductors like NVIDIA, AMD, the big bank stocks, and maybe some energy stocks. Never things like Lemonade. These cheaper, smaller cap, $10, $20 stocks, what I've learned the hard way, they'll give you a good-looking A plus setup. They don't work like they should. Granted, they can work, but not the same level of consistency as a Google, a Microsoft, and NVIDIA. So again, I've learned that the hard way. I've made that mistake before, and I made it last week. It's a FOMO thing, right? Always trying to find that next good trade. Oh boy, here comes Lemonade. Never heard of her, but yeah, I'll jump in and take a shot. Can't be doing that. All right, so a good trade, an A plus trade, is an A plus setup on a stock you've had success with. Big tech, big semis, financials, energy, indices. Not a little lemonade. So we took a loss in Lemonade. We made money on Wells Fargo twice. We cashed out on Amazon. And now the question is, any A plus setups for the week ahead? And we got a few. We've got a few. The one that sticks out the most, Microsoft. Microsoft is A plus on the, where is she? The 2-hour and the 15-minute time frame. The key for Microsoft, in my opinion, price has to hold that daily 50. A lot of times we think of that 21 EMA as a launching pad. In this case, think of that daily 50 as a launching pad, where if they can keep it above that daily 50, print a good-looking lower time frame signal, that 50 could be a launching pad for a push higher. If they break that 50, price might have to go lower down to that 21. So on the 2-hour time frame, A plus 2-hour squeeze. Above the trailing stop, good structure. The trend could be a little bit better, but we got our squeeze, our buy signal. It scores out as a 10 out of 12 for an A plus setup. If we drop down to the 15, very nice 15-minute squeeze. Very nice. Above the trailing stop, good structure, good trend, squeeze, buy signal, perfect 12, A plus. So Monday morning, if the QQQ catches a little bit of a bid and the market is strong, we can take that 15-minute, 2-hour squeeze above that 50. And I think find a spot for a good risk-reward trade. If we take an entry at, say, 414.50, we cut that trade under that daily 50. So there's maybe, we'll call it $1 of risk max. $1 of risk max. If they can take that 2-hour squeeze, fire that thing to the upside, at a minimum, there's about $3 of upside. Buy it above that 50, the daily 50. In that 15-minute, 2-hour squeeze, you've got about $1 of risk for an upside of $3 to $4+ And there is a daily squeeze here, but notice how neutral it is. Neutral structure, momentum below zero, neutral trend, no buy signal, no sell signal. I wouldn't look for a multi-week push. Think a little bit too early. So 15-minute, 2-hour squeeze above that daily 50 could make for a good push towards 417 to the lucky 420. And then next would be the Qs. So QQQ has a few squeezes here. Bigger picture, the slingshot on the 3-day. And then A plus on the 2-hour and the 5. Go take a look here at the 2-hour squeeze. The key for the QQQ in the short term for a path higher, keeping price above that daily 50. Kind of like Microsoft. So drop down to your 2-hour. Let's check the 5-minute first. All right, beautiful 5-minute squeeze. Trend, structure, squeeze, buy signal, 12 out of 12, A plus. We like that. We like that. And then the 2-hour, the dose. Not too bad. Good structure, neutral trend. So trend could be a little better. Squeeze, buy signal, it is a 10 out of 12. So same thinking as Microsoft. See how things open on Monday. If the internals are good, better than today. Not very good internals today from the ticks and the advanced decline. If things open up a bit better on Monday, take that 2-hour squeeze, take that 5-minute squeeze, look for a breakout above the high here into 444.50. If they can take off the top at 444.50, that could trigger a nice push. And then bigger picture, this might be a bit more of a few weeks down the road. The next big move for the market should come from these 3-day squeezes. We got a lot of them too. We have got a lot. QQQ, Nvidia, SPX, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, SMH, SMCI, Broadcom, IWM, and Meta. Now, for those of y'all in my room here, pop quiz. How come the 3-day squeeze here on QQQ is not A+? What are a few missing components here? And I'll help you out. We have a squeeze. We have good structure. We have good trend. What's missing? Yeah, Barney, Michael, Claudia, bingo. Momentum and the ATR trailing stop. So by definition, what's A+? Big 3 squeeze, big 3 buy signal, big 3 score of 7 points or better with price above that trailing stop. We've got the squeeze. We've got a score of 8, so it's better than 7. We don't have a buy signal, right? It's neutral. And we're not above that trailing stop. If they can change those two things, this becomes a really big setup. Get a positive shift of the trailing stop. More importantly, though, momentum. They've got trend. They've got structure. They got to work on momentum. We had a negative cross back here. And for now, we're getting the slingshot arrow. Right? That little blue arrow says, hey, you've got your squeeze. You've got good trend. You've got good structure. We're trying to fix momentum. If they can keep on printing that slingshot arrow, keep on pulling momentum higher, eventually take it through 0, then we get our buy signal, then we got a really big setup. And I think potentially a setup for a push into brand new all-time highs. Squeeze target sits around 462. So for now, let that develop. And then in the short term, find that pitch on a 15-minute, 5-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour, 2-hour. And we got one on the 2-hour. What else we got here? We did Microsoft. We did QQQ. Bigger picture, the small caps. I think heading into the summer, a lot of potential here for the small caps. If they want to go for it, nothing bigger than a monthly squeeze. That's like the Shaquille O'Neal of squeezes. And it's perfect. Above our trailing stop, good structure, good trend, squeeze, buy signal, perfect 12, A+. The only thing about a monthly squeeze, they're not the quickest. This could take anywhere from 3 to 6 to 9+ months. But so long as that squeeze is A+, there could be a path here towards 240. And frankly, by the time the squeeze actually fires, that target's probably going to be around 250, 260. Check the weekly and a brand new A+ weekly squeeze. If we check the daily chart, it's a little bit more neutral. So I think at the minimum, if you want to play those bigger time frames, wait for a trigger on a daily buy signal. If you can get a daily buy signal inside of an A+ weekly monthly squeeze, then it might be worth a shot. But only then. All right, what else we got here? Broadcom on the 2 hour, SMH. Let's go take a peek here at SMH. So very much like the QQQ. Slingshot on the 3-day. Same thing as the QQQ. Big 3 score of 8. Good trend, good structure. At some point, they got to shift that trailing stop, and they got to get that momentum cross. With that being said, take a look here at Amazon. The only thing missing, two things actually. The only two things missing, I think, before a push towards 195, 200, one of them being momentum. Big 3-day squeeze, great trend, really good structure, really good score of 10. They've got to get that momentum cross. In comparison to the QQQ, Amazon's much closer. They've got to get it through the 0 line, and it currently sits at negative 0.03. And I think at the highs yesterday, they were actually getting that positive cross. They got to do that, and they've got to get a couple closes back above that 190. If you follow spot gamma, which I think I'm going to follow a little bit more moving forward, we got a big call wall at 190. Right? A call wall is basically a brick wall. You can have a squeeze, you can have a buy signal. Until that call wall goes higher, they lift it to 195, they lift it to 200. 190 is a big level of resistance. So take that 3-day squeeze. If we can get the positive cross, if we can get a couple of closes above that 190 and see that call wall go higher, I think there's room for another $5 or $10 of upside. The squeeze calls for a push towards 200. And then better yet, we got a double dose here. Same thing on the 2-day squeeze. That can be a pretty powerful combo. 2-day squeeze fires, 3-day squeeze fires. They can pretty quickly take that to 195 or higher. So Amazon is on the board. And then I think that's it for the big dogs. Let's see, Morgan Stanley. Very nice weekly squeeze. And again, the banks were really nice this week. Very nice weekly squeeze. It's got it all going on. Squeeze above the trailing stop. Structure is bullish. Trend is bullish. Big 3 is bullish. Perfect 12, A+. That calls for a move towards 105. The only thing I would add here, it already hit that daily target. Meaning I wouldn't chase it. Wait for a pullback to a 1-hour 21, a 4-hour 21. Wait for some kind of pullback that takes price just a little bit lower. And then maybe jump in there and take a shot on that weekly squeeze. And then a few more for you here. LMT. Beautiful daily. Structure, trend, perfect 12, A+. And I think they got one more here on LMT. Yeah, LMT, A+ on the daily and a monthly slingshot. I wouldn't play the monthly. I mean, you could, of course. For a shorter term trade, I'd focus a bit more on that daily squeeze. If that can follow in Raytheon's footsteps, right, nice push here for Raytheon. If LMT can follow suit, could be good for a push towards 475, 480. So for those of you in the mastery, I think we'll keep an eye on that one for next week. And then there is John Deere. They have earnings coming up. And again, like I said at the beginning of the call, If I print out all my trades over the last 10 years, all my big money is made. All my money is made. Big tech, big financials, big semiconductors, SPX, QQQ. Not Walmart, not John Deere, not Coca-Cola. Now, can I trade these names? Of course I can. And for what it's worth, I'd much rather trade a John Deere than a freaking lemonade. But if anything, just scaling down my aggressiveness. Save the size, save the aggressive trades for the big tech, big semi kind of things. With that being said, earnings are on the 16th, so that might be cutting it a little bit close. And then there is CCJ, A plus daily squeeze, along with an A plus weekly squeeze. And then I can promise you on everything I love, I will not trade this one, but GDX. I'll just throw it out there. GDX. Brand new A plus daily squeeze. My track record with gold, it's pretty horrendous. There's a saying in the Centrals room that gold is an asshole. That's kind of been my experience. So your mileage might vary. I don't trade gold. But I will give credit where credit is due. That's a nice daily squeeze. I won't touch it, but I can look at it. And then for the scans here, GDX, CCJ, Dow Chemical. Nice squeeze for Dow Chemical. Got one here in XEL, which is energy. But that's not A+, so that shouldn't be on the scan. And then T-Mobile. A very exciting name, T-Mobile. So yeah, my picks for next week will be LMT, the 2-hour squeeze on Microsoft, the 2-hour squeeze on the QQQ, and then at some point, I think a lot of potential for Amazon out of that 2-day, 3-day squeeze. Like I said, though, 1 or 2 closes back above that 190. Let's see that call wall go a little bit higher, 195, 200, and then that fresh momentum cross. If they can do all the above, I think we got a nice trade lined up. And that's about it, guys. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Microsoft, QQQ, SMH, Broadcom, small caps, Morgan Stanley. Yeah, that is about it. So I'll do some more scans this weekend. I'll see if there's anything else setting up out there, but that is it for now. All we'll do next week, sit back, be patient, sip some coffee, and wait for the next Wells Fargo. Pretty straightforward. A plus squeeze, you take it. A plus 4-hour squeeze, you take it. The key being the understanding, they're not all going to work. All right, no indicator, no tool out there where they're all going to work. But if my next 50 hourly squeeze trades look exactly like Wells Fargo, if I can take 50 A plus 1-hour squeezes all in a row, I'm going to come out on top. That's where you find your edge. Not in that one given trade, but over the course of 25, 50, 100 trades. And 500, 1,000 for the rest of your life. But all right, guys, any questions? Throw them at me. We'll hang out here for a few minutes, and then I got to work on some webinar slides. So stay tuned for all of that. And then let me think, who's playing tonight? My Celtics got whooped. My Celtics caught a whooping last night. Tonight we have the Knicks and Pacers, and the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Timberwolves looking pretty good. Yeah, Coach Harris. I think Anthony Edwards might be the next guy. He might be the next face of the league for good reason. For good reason. So Claudia, both Coke and Pepsi were A+, but you don't have the new labels just yet. So they might not be A+ on your end, but they are on my end. And we'll get the update pushed in about 2 or so weeks here. Update for the labels, and more importantly, the update for the squeeze columns. This will be your new best friend. Your new best friend. All right, Stoicism. Can I look at the NQ? Yeah. Let's go take a peek. Come on, NQ. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, NQ. All right, let's go take a look here. Woo, we got a lot of squeezes. None of which are A+. 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. Wow. So one thing's for sure, we're going into next week with a lot of built-up energy here on the NQ. Build-up energy at some point turns into a directional move. The fact that they're neutral, and the 15 minutes a little bit bearish, the fact they're neutral makes waking up Monday morning, calling for an immediate direction, a little bit tricky. Where instead at the close, if they all had a buy signal, yeah, we're looking for a push higher Monday morning. Or vice versa, they all got a sell signal, we're looking for a pullback. Neutral means be patient. Be patient, don't force trades, don't have biases, wait for a bit more clarity. All of a sudden, you get a 5-minute buy signal, we get a 15, we get a 30-minute. Now things are shaping up in a bit more of a bullish fashion. We get a bunch of sell signals, then things are shaping up in a bit more of a bearish fashion. The next big push should come from that 4-hour squeeze. That's the big boy. That's the big boy. And yes, I can change the colors for you. I will keep that in mind. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Good to see you. Can we take a look at crowd? We definitely can. All right, crowd. Let's go. We'll drop her in here. Okay, crowd. Some potential. A+ weekly. Slingshot on the 3-day and the 2-day. So not quite A+, but pretty close. And then A+ on that 2-hour. So working from the top down. It's a great weekly squeeze. Now, it's brand new. So notice the previous weekly squeeze, that thing spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus weeks in that compression phase. Trading sideways in a squeeze, building up energy, and then you got that push. Which might mean, if anything, there might be a bit more sideways action here for crowd before they can go on and fire that weekly squeeze. If we drop down to the 3-day, we've got the slingshot, so very close to A+. We've got structure, we've got trend. They're working on momentum. 2-day squeeze. They've got trend, they've got structure. They've got to shift that trailing stop, and they're working on momentum. And then the 2-hour. 2-hour squeeze is pretty clean. I like it. Just in terms of a big push towards 380, that might need another 1, 2, 3 weeks in that weekly squeeze. They can fire it after one dot. That can happen. We've seen that happen. Probabilities-wise, they tend to compress for a little bit longer than 1 week. So maybe in the short term, you drop down to your 2-hour time frame, and you operate on that 2-hour. Play for a push towards 330, 335 kind of thing. But she looks good. She looks good. Yeah, JP Morgan was beautiful. Beautiful 4-hour squeeze. I love it. I love it. So, Laurel, unfortunately, the scans do not work in TradingView. And I wish that was not the case, because I know everybody's not on Thinkorswim. I'll talk to the team. There's been talks of trying to get my scans on the Simpler scanner, which is a web-based scanner. I'll reach out to them, see if there's any progress updates. But for the time being, unfortunately, just scans on TOS. All right, guys, a couple more questions here. Yeah, like I said, next time I trade a name like Lemonade, a dog crap stock, you all got to throw rocks at me. Find my address, drive to my house, ring on my doorbell, and throw a big rock at me. But I will not do that again. Right? The easy solution, spend 95% of my time watching my core watch list. Now, here's what I'm finding. On my core watch list, big tech, big financials, big semiconductors, is there a perfect weekly, daily squeeze every week? Absolutely not. Is there a perfect 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour squeeze every week? Most weeks, the answer is yes. So it's a bit more about taking my A+ setup on my A+ names wherever I can get it. If I'm getting it on a weekly chart, all right, beautiful. I've got a big swing trade setting up. If I've got a 30-minute end-of-day squeeze on Google, and it's A+, all right, that might not be a multi-week swing trade kind of setup, but it'll function the same as a weekly squeeze. Buy that thing near that 21 EMA, let the squeeze fire, take off the profits on that push towards 2.5 to 3 ATR. Same setup, same indicator, same entry, same exit. Looking to lower time frames, what I'm learning is bigger plate of opportunity. Then I can be much more patient on those daily, weekly squeezes. I don't need a lemonade. I'll go take a 1-hour squeeze in Apple or Google, Nvidia, whatever the case may be. No more crapper stocks moving forward. But all right, y'all, I will let you go here. As always, thank you for all your time this week. Good trading. Thank you for all the time and effort. And as mentioned earlier, as far as I know, Thinkorswim is going to be down this weekend. I, for one, am getting shifted over to Schwab. So with that being said, no live prep session. But as soon as I see the platform live, I'll jump on, I'll record the weekend prep video. And then as always, I'll be live here on the YouTube channel Monday morning, 7:45 a.m. Central for a pre-market prep. So have a great weekend. Enjoy some basketball if you're into that kind of thing. Take your dog for a walk, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you again. Adios.